I know what fertility specialists do. They find alternative ways to get pregnant. Are you leaking breast milk? I will go months without having a period.
But I know through the process, we've seen miracles.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the I guess we should say welcome back to ourselves. We have been gone for a while, but we are back with another video. We have something to say. We have something to share.
We gotta speak our minds.
Yes. From the title of today's video, you probably already see what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about our fertility journey and what has led us up to this moment right here and right now.
Yeah. So before we get into this, y'all, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Hit the like button down in the description.
Yep, and let's get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go back to the beginning. Chris and I got married August 6th.
Ooh!
August 26th.
August 26th.
I said 16. August 26th, 2017.
I forgot the date.
No, I did not.
No,
I did not. I did not forget the wedding date. August 26th. How can I forget the 26th? Because that's like a part of my birthday. August 26th, 2017. And I was not on any birth control. We did not use any condoms. We didn't use any type of contraceptions or preventative measure to getting pregnant. And I didn't really think nothing of it. I was just like, oh, okay. When it happens, it happens, right? For me, it didn't like really start bothering me until year 3 of our marriage. And I was just like, dang, we have not gotten pregnant yet. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, by year 3 of our marriage, we were relocated. We was here in Texas, and we were going to the doctor, and I think we might have brought up
family planning.
Family planning.
Yeah.
And the doctor that we was going to at the time, I'm not gonna say she wasn't that good. She wasn't that great or nothing like that, but she didn't look
deep into it. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until year 4? I think it was like a year after that.
We had switched doctors.
We switched doctors, and then it kind of got more invasive, and we started to learn more. Well, Melissa, during the whole process, I say year 3, that's when she began to start doing her research.
Oh, yeah.
Fertility.
Yes. I started diving deep, you guys, because I was like, I know getting pregnant, there's like a science to it. I know it's a complete miracle that this happens, right? So I'm just like trying to understand my period, trying to understand my cycle, ovulation, all of this stuff. And to be honest with you, I've been, having periods since I was in middle school, but I really didn't understand the complexity of it, right? And I was just like, yo, this is like all about timing. And I was still trusting the Lord with everything. I was still trusting him, but I was starting to like track ovulation and starting to like track my periods, and to find out my periods was very, very irregular. Very irregular. Like I would go months without having a period. And I was having that same thing before we got married. But
actually, before we even knew each other.
Yeah, before we even knew each other, I was having irregular periods. But in my mind, I wasn't thinking, oh, something's wrong with me. I need to go to the doctor because my periods are not regular. Because one day I want to have children someday, and this might impact that. I wasn't even thinking about that, right? I was just like, oh, my period didn't come this month. Didn't think nothing of it. And I'm gonna, if you're watching this and you want to have children someday, and you have irregular periods, or you think something's not right, you need to go to the doctor well before it's time to start planning for a family.
And that's for both male and female.
Yeah.
I know sometimes the male, with us guys, we get the joke. Oh man, what's going on with you, man? You not swimming or what? I had to hear it from my dad. I'm thinking the whole time like, man, what if it is me? But yeah, definitely go get checked out.
Yeah, for sure. That's honestly probably the biggest lesson that I've learned from this situation. But okay, so I did this deep dive into fertility, into this research, and our doctor referred us to an OBGYN. And went to her. She is phenomenal. She's awesome. She's amazing. All the things. And she did an ultrasound and blood work. Now, normally the blood work that they give, they don't like test for this hormone called prolactin. Prolactin. We know that very well now. Yeah. But something told her, go ahead and test her for prolactin, just to see what her numbers are. And prolactin is a hormone in our brains that helps a woman, or men too, men have prolactin as well, produce breast milk. Okay, that's what it is. And basically, when a woman is pregnant, her prolactin goes up, right? But when you are not pregnant, you want your prolactin to be low. Okay, so we did all the blood work and everything, the ultrasound. She called me back. And first thing she said, "Hey, got your results back. Are you leaking breast milk?" I was like, "No." And she was like, okay. And I was like, what is you talking about? She was like, because your prolactin numbers are high as if you are breastfeeding. And I was like, what? I was like, that's very strange. I've never knew that or never even heard about that, right? So she immediately put me on some medication that lowers the prolactin level. Got on the prolactin. It lowered it pretty much immediately, right? And but I had like really bad side effects from it, like dizziness. I was just like kind of sick from it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this sucks. I'm ready to get off of this. And then I went back to get the blood work done, and it would go down, and then it would like shoot back up again. So she was like, okay, well, let's do another round of this. I did, 4 rounds?
Yeah, I think it was 4 rounds.
4 rounds of that medication.
Yeah.
And y'all, it didn't keep the prolactin down. So she eventually was just like, well, Melissa, and I remember seeing her after getting my blood drawn, and I just felt like really defeated. Like, man, like this prolactin is causing me not to ovulate. It's causing me pretty much to have infertility, and I don't know what to do to keep it down. I changed my diet. I started exercise. I started doing all these things to try to manage this hormone, but it just was not managing, right? So I remember her, I don't think I've told you this, but she like gave me a hug. So after she gave me this really like tight hug, she was like, Melissa, you may have something more invasive going on. I'm going to refer you to a specialist. Those were not the words I wanted to hear, because I know what fertility specialists do. They find alternative ways to get pregnant. And that's not what I was trying to do. I was trying to get pregnant naturally, right? So I went home, told Chris, I was like, she wants to refer me to a specialist. You know, I'll give them a call next week. How long did next week take?
A long time.
A long time. Yeah, next week probably took a good 3 months. Yeah. Before I called the specialist. I was just so much in.
If not longer. I think it was longer than 3 months.
You think it was longer?
Yeah. We stalled a lot. We didn't contact them right away. It was like months later. I said, so when are you gonna contact the fertility specialist? Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah. That's when Melissa finally did it.
Yeah, I think what made me not do it right away was because it was hard for me to come to grips with the fact that now I need help in this department. Like, I've never really needed help like with my health, and to know that this was something that I was struggling with, that it was not coming naturally, was a real hard pill to swallow for me. And it was kind of like I was grieving a little bit. Grieving what I didn't even realize I was grieving. I think I was just in straight up denial that this is gonna happen, right? And so I think what made me call y'all was Chris. We was sitting on the couch and Chris was like, you know, it was around his birthday. Like, he had just had a birthday and he was like, I'm getting older, you know, I think we really need to like get on this and start calling these doctors and finding a doctor, because, you know, I really want to have a child. Like, that's what I really desire. And of course I desired that too. I just wanted to happen naturally. So that's what really kicking into high gear. I was like, okay, let me call these people, find a doctor, and call them and set up our appointment. This is kind of like sad, reliving this whole thing. It's kind of sad. So after we found the doctor, and so we have our consultation with her and tell her this is what's been happening, kind of giving her the journey up into that moment. And she was like, well, we're going to come in, we're going to do all the testing, we're going to check your prolactin and all my results, whatever. Results come back, of course, prolactin is high. Also, my thyroid was off too. Okay, so she immediately put me back on the prolactin medication, which is cabergoline, and she put me on a thyroid medicine. And I did an HSG test, which is the dye test, y'all. Oh my gosh, we about to tell it all. I guess we telling this for real, right? And Chris couldn't come back there with me for that test. So I was back there by myself, and this is where they insert dye into your uterus to see if structurally everything is good. But what did I say before we went in? I'm good, right?
Yep.
I was confident that I was like, I don't have no black tubes, like my uterus is fine, like structurally I'm good. It's just this hormone that's in my brain that is out of whack, right? Yo, after the test, you get your results immediately, and I found out that I have a blocked tube. I didn't expect to hear that. One of my tubes is blocked. I didn't expect to hear that. We'll talk a little bit later about the actual tests, but the left tube is blocked. Jesus. Okay, the left tube is blocked. I have a black tube, and I was in utter shock. Okay, and I was like, I had her repeat it at least 4 times. I said what now? She's like, the dye comes out this side, but not on the left side. The dye did not leave out the fallopian tube. So I was like, what? Like, what are you saying? And she just was like, you have a blocked tube, but you do have one tube that's working. And I was like, what? When? How did that happen? When did I get a blocked tube? Like, what in the world? So I come out there and I just told Chris it wasn't good. I told him and that I have a blocked tube, and he was like, okay, all right, we still got one tube working. You know, he was very like optimistic and very positive about it, but I know he was still confused, like, how did you get a blocked tube? And we just, there's still unexplained why I have a blocked tube. What?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with this whole situation, like, if you was to ask me to explain all this stuff to you, I couldn't do it. I don't even know what the heck going on right now. But what I did understand was that all you needed was one tube, and
one ovary, one
egg, and some sperm. And I was just optimistic in that moment. I'm like, well, if that's the case, hey, we got what we need still. So let's make it work. Yeah, and I think that's what it was. I'm just trying to, I'm sitting here quiet. I'm just trying to really think about everything that happened up till now, and it's just been a lot.
It's been a lot. Yeah, it has.
And I'm trying to like have input, but It's been a lot, man, and I can't explain half the stuff. But I know through the process, we've seen miracles. We've seen miracles in this whole process.
Oh, we about to get to the miracles. We about to get to the miracles, y'all. Keep watching. Keep watching. So after the black tube situation, she gives us about 2 weeks before she give us another virtual call to see what is the plan, right? And I'm telling you, those were the longest 2 weeks of my life. Okay, I'm like, I think I was more. No, I wasn't. I was more emotional after the plan. Because I think I was more of like in denial and shock. Oh my gosh, where did this black tube come from? So she called us back. We're on virtually. We're virtually talking with her, and she talks about, you know, the black tube. She talks about the thyroid, the prolactin. She also mentions that I had some polyps in my uterus that needed to be removed. Where did that come from? I don't know, right? So I'm like, okay, let's get those removed. And those polyps were actually right in the area of the tube that was not blocked. So I'm thinking, okay, is the sperm being blocked by these little polyps that's on my uterus? So it ain't getting, I'm thinking of all this stuff. So we end up listening to what she has to say, and she says you have 2 options. But in my head, I know I have 3, right? You have 2 options. First option is called IUI, and I'm going to put the name of it right above here, okay? It's called IUI. Here's the actual name of it. And this is where they take the sperm and they place it inside the uterus to get closer to the fallopian tube, closer to the egg to fertilize it, right? Because Chris sperm, A1. He's good, okay? He's good. It was just the fact that the sperm needs to get to where it has to go, and this situation just helps it, right? Helps it get to where it has to go. It's called IUI. And then the next option was IVF, which is where they take the eggs from me, take Chris sperm, they take it to the lab, and they basically put it together and wait it to become a little bit like an embryo or whatever, and they place it inside my uterus. Okay, now she said that option could be an option, but since you have one working tube, IUI may be a better option for you. And we said, okay, well, we have to really think about this. We have to really pray about this because this is a lot of information. But we definitely want to go ahead and get these polyps removed. So we took some time to think about it, and we did getting the polyps removed, right? And that was like a full-blown surgery. I had to go under anesthesia. I had to go into the clinic, and it was a whole big deal. I have never been under anesthesia before, but when she got in me, which sounds weird, but when she went in, the polyps, like, I don't want to say they were gone because they were still there, but she said it was not as bad as what she saw on the screen, right? Which I believe is a miracle, right? I saw the polyps there on the screen, and when she said we went in, it wasn't really polyps. It was just your lining was just really uterine lining was very like inflamed, right? So she ended up taking a biopsy of that to find out it was endometriitis, which is just inflammation of the uterine lining.
Not endometriosis.
Yes, it just itis, which is the inflammation. So she ended up putting me on the antibiotics, and it cleared it up, y'all. So my uterine lining, my uterus is good. I got one working tube, great ovaries and eggs and all of that. So now it's go time. Everything is good and ready to go. Prolactin is regulated, thyroid is regulated. So this was around right before Christmas time, and she was like, okay, take some time after Christmas, call us back first in the new year to see what you guys want to do.
Yeah.
And we decided to go.
Excuse me, sorry. We decided to try it naturally after Christmas. We went on a cruise, went out the country for a little bit. And we came back, we said, let's just try it naturally for a month and see where we at with things. And so a month went by, and it wasn't until a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago, where we called her and was like, okay, we're gonna go with the IUI, right? And she was like, okay, great, let's do it. She was like, as soon as your period comes, we'll get started. And I think we had that conversation on Monday, and my period came Tuesday.
But the thing about that conversation Monday, when you called the doctor, it was like, I'm late. You was like maybe 15 days late.
Yeah, I was my period was late.
It was like no sign of menstrual at all. And she was like, okay, well, I could get you on this medication, and that could kind of kickstart the period for you.
Yeah, Provera. Yeah.
But that next day, Melissa woke me up, and I don't know, I think we just kind of started this snowstorm here. Something like that. But Melissa woke me up and was like, I'm on my period. And so we called the doctor back that day. We waited till they opened. They opened up at like 8 o'clock. We called them at 8 o'clock. And we got in contact. They got in contact with the doctor. The doctor called us back. And was like, all right, well, let's get the ball rolling.
And that was, and it's rolling. That's where we at right now. Currently, we are in our first and preferably only cycle of IUI. And it's been a journey. Leading up to this moment has been a journey. A lot of emotional ups and downs. I have cried more than I have ever cried in my life during these months. Yeah, during these months of,
I'd say this past year and a half, really.
Yes, yeah. I have cried so much, and it was more of just like I was saying, just grieving what I thought it was gonna be, right? Grieving the idea of me missing a period. Let me take a pregnancy test. Oh my gosh, we're pregnant. Like that whole surprise factor. But now things are so planned out right now that although I'm still going to be shocked and surprised when we do get pregnant, but I think I was just grieving that idea of just like us naturally getting pregnant. And it wasn't until I had to surrender that to the Lord. I had to say, you know what? Not my will, but your will be done. However you want to do this, Lord, do it. It's gonna get done however you want to do it. It may not look like how I want it to be done, but you have the final say. You are the author and the finisher of all things, and how you do it is going to be the right way for me. It's going to be the right way that you have planned for us. And it took a while for me to get there, but the Lord was just showing me little signs of like just comforting signs, like, okay, we're doing the right thing, we're on the right track, right? And although it took a while, I'm finally here, because I wanted to talk about this for a while now, but I knew I was not in the space mentally to get on camera. I probably would be crying.
Don't get me wrong, y'all, it's still kind of hard to talk about. But this is real life. And it's a lot of couples out there that's faced with this. And not open and transparent about this, but
absolutely. And a lot of people talk about their infertility after the baby comes, right? But this is us talking about our baby coming out of faith, right? We're making this video out of faith because I'm not pregnant yet, so we're talking about this out of faith, believing the Lord that this will happen for us. And if you are believing for the same thing, like, I just want to encourage you to steadfast, keep believing, keep fasting. There was an album that I listened to every day, didn't I, babe?
Yep.
Every day, okay? Because that album really built my faith to the point where I was under anesthesia believing I was at a concert. And I woke up out of anesthesia like, where am I? I thought I was at a CeCe Winans concert. Like, that's how much those lyrics, those songs had gotten in my spirit to the point where I was knocked out under anesthesia, still worshiping the Lord. So whatever it takes, if it's a song, if it's a scripture, whatever it is, like just hold on to that tight, right? And just keep believing that the Lord is gonna do this for you, because He can. Yeah. So we have more videos coming, y'all. We have a lot of videos coming. Actually, we've been vlogging our whole IUI journey, and so those videos are coming out. We want to make this video first so that you guys can kind of understand where we've been led up to that moment, right?
Because it's been a while since you posted on YouTube, y'all.
Yes, it's been like almost 6 months.
So.
But listen, these 6 months we've been going through. Like I said, I was not in the space mentally to get on camera. And I think we did do a video, and we kind of looked at each other like, do we want to tell them about what's going on? And we were just like, no. And I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we didn't tell people what was going on at that moment, because
we didn't have a clue. We wasn't even where we at now. So.
We didn't even know ourselves what was going on. So I'm glad that we didn't, and we didn't share. So yeah, you guys, that's all we have for our origin story and our fertility journey. Stay tuned. We have much more videos coming, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
See y'all in the next one.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Bye.